Hello, everybody. I don't know where that music was coming from, but I'm obsessed. Like, that's all that I need this morning to get me through the crazy morning that it has already been. So, anyway, I am honored to come teach you a part of our system, our ACE system. We're really going to focus on the C today. Wednesday is for the connection piece which is what the C stands for in ACE. And today, what I want to say first is, before I introduce myself, because some of you probably have no idea who I am, there are a million ways that you can connect people to your business, that you can connect people to yourself, that you can connect people to ketones and connect people to whatever. But today we are going to deep dive into how to connect in chats, any chat. So it could be Facebook chat, Instagram, DM, text. It could be text for people who don't have Facebook, right? So as we are all getting ready, if you don't have a piece of paper, I would recommend that you do. So I'm going to give you 5 points today around this topic. And it's really how I built my entire business. 5 years ago, I just celebrated my Proveversary. Been a promoter for 5 years in, I guess in March. So a little bit over 5 years, but let me introduce myself as we're getting our notes, getting our pens, our pads, our papers, all of those things. Who am I? My name is Jenna Gainey. I'm a mom of 3. I'm a wife to 1. I always think that's funny to say. And I'm a registered nurse. My husband's actually also a registered nurse. We live in the beautiful mountains of West Virginia. It's about an hour outside of Baltimore and Washington, D.C. If you've never been out this way, I highly recommend it. It is beautiful times a million. So this is where we live. And before Prove It, my husband and I found ourselves overworked, right? But we weren't just overworked. We were working in the hospital system, in the healthcare system. Anybody else in healthcare or was in healthcare? Let me pull up this chat. Oh, there it is. And not only were we overworked, we were severely underpaid for what we were doing. We were undervalued, and it was a really hard time for our family. Not only on that professional side of things, it wasn't looking so hot. I was miserable as a human being, and that wasn't who I was prior to that. I was exhausted. My brain fog was debilitating. And as a nurse, that is not a good problem to have. I could not finish my sentences almost. It was absolutely horrible. And so my mood was also debilitating. I use that word not lightly. I really mean what I said. So to put the cherry on top of those 2 issues, internal issues plus professional issues, our 2.5-year-old son got this big diagnosis, and we already were really low, and it took us way lower. And fast forward through that story, we end up in a neurologist's office, and the neurologist tells us to eat a ketogenic diet. And I was like, no. And the next part of this story is very important to hear and let it sit with you for a minute, because I was sitting in an expert's office, a neurologist. He was the top of the top, the best of the best. It's why we sought after him. It took us forever to get into his office. He's an expert. He's telling me about a lifestyle we should live, and I needed validation from something else. I needed validation from someone else. And so Mandy Mitchell had this call she was training on this topic of connection in our ACE system last Wednesday. And she told you about the why. Why connect people, right? And the validation piece, the validation part is part of that why. And I couldn't believe, hindsight's 2020. I could not believe that I took a year to find validation of what this expert was saying. What the expert was saying to me. And that's not the point of my story. I just felt like I needed to make that point, because whether you're an expert or not, and whatever you are sharing, people want validation, right? So don't be offended if they're not totally believing everything that you say. Invite them to be validated. And that's how we do that, or why we do the connection piece. And to wrap the introduction to me, my story, And how and why I think chats are so powerful is this. In that journey of validating him, and we did actually start a ketogenic diet, which we all know drinking ketones is not the same, and you don't have to eat a ketogenic diet to drink ketones, but I didn't know that. So I'm scrolling on Facebook, shocker, as we all do, and this random chick pops up. Her live video pops up. I have no idea who she is, but something in her title, whether it was the name of her page or what she, like the caption of her live video, pulled me in. Facebook's magic algorithmic thing worked. I guess it was tracking me and how I was searching the word keto 100 times and put me on to this lady whose page's name was Keto Mom. So I click on her video and I watch her. And this next part is so important. The first words out of her mouth, it must have been a replay. I don't know if it was live or if it was a replay, but regardless. The first words out of this lady's mouth was, my name's Stephanie. I'm from Minnesota, but I'm living in Florida for the winter. And I literally felt my body get weak because that was a dream of mine. I want in the winter to be able to live south and come back to West Virginia during the summer months. And she had me, I was drawn in by that statement, literally. Hi, my name's Stephanie. I'm from Minnesota, but I live in Florida for the winter. I was weak. The next statement out of her mouth was about homeschooling her children. And given the diagnosis of my son, I was about to embark on the homeschool mom journey. And I was scared. And I wanted to do it, but I didn't want to do it. Yeah, anybody can relate there, I'm sure. And I literally was weak in the knees. And I'm like, this person has obviously been sent to me, divinely sent to me. So I feel a connection with her. She has me before she's even talking about ketones. I just know they eat keto because she's making it was a breakfast for her children at the table who were homeschooling, right? Then it was like anybody watch Dora Explorer and there's like the swiper no swipey thing? It's kind of like he was the swiper or whatever, and he swiped this packet across the video. And she said, and we drink these to keep us in ketosis for better focus during school time and all of that. And I about died. And I didn't believe her at all. But that live video, guess where it ended with us, with her and I. She didn't know me from Jack. I didn't really know her. I just felt a connection. This relationship started and we ended up in a chat. A Facebook Messenger chat. Raise your hand if your relationship with whoever enrolled you in this business started in an electronic chat. Raise your hand if it didn't start in an electronic chat, because we'll talk a little bit about this today too. Okay, I love that we have a mixture of both. Okay, awesome. So we got connected in chats. My business wouldn't be here if it weren't for that one chat that began. And there's power in that. The power in chats is relational, and it can also be transactional, which we'll talk about. So if you are a note taker, if you're taking notes, this is when I want you to get your handy dandy notebook out. You can totally tell I have kids. I am speaking in cartoons. That's the language that I speak in, cartoons. So what we are going to title this training is how to use chats to produce sales through real connection. How to use chats to produce sales through real connection. So 5 points we're going to hit. And the first one, if you're taking notes, is always carry yourself with the goal to guide everyone you meet into a chat. Always carry yourself with the goal or the intention to guide every single person you meet into a chat. And I mean everyone. I don't mean just people who maybe you did a live video too and they were attracted to you, and that's super simple and it's kind of rhythmic of people if you meet someone on social media to connect with them and chat. But I'm even talking about, let's say I take my dog on a walk through the neighborhood. My intention is to meet new people because I am in the business of networking, right? And say I like her shoes, or say I like her garden equipment, or whatever it is. We'll stick with shoes. I'm walking my dog and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love your shoes. Remember, my intention, my goal is to connect with her in a chat. I don't care if it's text message, Instagram, DM, whatever it is. My thing is Facebook. So you'll hear me say that a lot today, Facebook. I love your shoes. And then I'm going to pretend like I'm like fighting with my dog or whatever. And my dog wants to keep walking, right? Because I don't want to be weird and like stay in her yard for 15 minutes. She just saw me for the first time in her life. And I'm going to be like, oh, where'd you get them? As I'm wrestling with my dog who wants to keep going. And she tells me, and I'm like, I'm not going to remember that. This is an example, right? I'm not going to remember that. Can I add you on Facebook? And you can send me a picture and tell me where you got it. Literally either going to give her my phone or take hers if she has it, have her type her name into my phone, and I'm going to send her a chat. Thank you, Lisa. Lisa Kirkpatrick is putting all of the topics that we're talking about in the chat. So that's amazing. Thank you. So on my walk with a belly to belly conversation, I ended up in a chat thread on Facebook. And my last topic for today is going to be, what do I do with that after we talk about the shoes, right? You connected with her, but now what? Like, the conversation's stale, right, Jenna? The answer is no. So some other examples of how you can pull people into your chat from all areas of life. That was a belly to belly example. You can do a live video or a post and ask people to comment on your live video or post, as most of us probably do. And then even if it's something as simple as you giving a directive to your followers to say, hey, if you're watching this live, comment 1. If you're watching it on the replay, comment 2. That they're listening to your call to action. We call them to action. They went through with it. They followed through. I like the people who follow through. And now we're going to message them in a chat and say, thank you so much for watching my video. I hope it was valuable. They're in my chat, right? I had the intention to lead them there. Or let's say you're at a vendor table or a vendor booth. You didn't compliment them on their shoes, whatever it is. You can literally just say in person, man, I love your energy. I would love to connect with you further. Or I would love to finish this topic. I would love to have this conversation when we have time, when there's not so much going on. Can I add you to Facebook? Oh, you don't have Facebook? Can I get your phone number? I'll send you a text message right now and say, hey, this is Jenna. So always carry yourself with the intention that we are going to, or the goal that we are going to guide the person into our chats. Make sense? Awesome. Number 2, once they're in the chat and you've started the conversation. So once you're in the chat, make it about them, not you. This is point number 2. Once in the chat, make it about them, not you. Because truly our goal is to figure out who this person is, what this person wants, especially when it comes to building our business around ketones and the business opportunity. What do they want? Who are they? What makes them tick? And you will never know that. You will never find that out if you make it about yourself. And so I'm going to give you 3 examples or 3 subtopics, if you would, under this umbrella here. And 3 examples of how this can play out in conversation. And I would like to give you some verbiage on, if somebody's approaching me in a chat, which we'll do these 3 different approaches, what would my verbiage be? How can I flip the script and make it about them first, make them feel heard, make them feel seen, right? So approach number 1. Someone approaches you about your ketones. This is like what everybody wants. We want everyone in our DMs asking us, hey, I want some of this ketones you always talk about. It's time, right? Let's say that they did approach you about ketones. How I would encourage you to respond and how I respond is, instead of just jumping right into the link, instead of just jumping right into all of the options that you have for your trial packs or your bundles or your website, right? First, say, I am so excited, and you can type this or you can voice it. I am so excited for you to experience these, right? Not, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to make a sale today, or I'm so excited you want to try the ketones, or make sure you say you. I know it's just one word, but it's so powerful. I'm so excited for you to experience these, and then ask a question so that they have to answer you back. They don't have to, but most of the time they will. And the question that I love to ask when somebody is coming to me and approaching me about ketones is this: what benefits are you looking for the most? And here's the magic. I plug all of the benefits into this question. Because what if somebody approached me about ketones thinking they were only for fat loss, or thinking they were only for energy, and they had no idea that the other benefits of better mood and better sleep and appetite control and all of those other things were there? I drink them for brain fog. Do they know that? Do they know that it can help with brain fog? Do they know that it can help with mental energy, cognitive energy? Well, they're about to know. So they message me and I'm like, I'm so excited for you to try these. What benefits are you after? And then I kind of, in a playful manner, and this is usually through voice text for me, I say, is it that you need a better mood or better energy? Is it focus, fat loss, better sleep? Is it one or all of the above? Because girlfriend for me, it was all of the above, right? So if they didn't know, now they know all the other benefits of ketones. And then I let them answer me back. So 9 out of 10 times, that person is probably going to be like, wow, she's not super transactional or aggressive in trying to sell me something. She really wants to hear what I need in my life, what I want in my life. They feel seen, they feel heard. All right, let's move on to approach number 2. What if somebody approaches you about the business? This could be a random stranger. This can be somebody who is already a customer of yours, but they approach you about the business, or you've brought up the conversation, whatever. The response is going to practically be the same. Wow, I am so excited for you, right? I'm so excited for you to potentially be able to experience the community and culture of our company, right? Get them excited for what they're about to experience. And then again, ask them a question. The question I would ask is, what about the opportunity drew you in? Or what are you looking for to get out of this? Turning it back to them, making it about them. Because the last thing you want to do is mess this conversation up as far as assuming that they want to be this crazy empire building business woman or man. And you go into Jody said it best on her training the other day, the keto-rhea. It's like diarrhea of the mouth. In this case, we have ketones, so it's keto-rhea. And we're telling them all these things. What if they didn't want to hear any of that? Right? I love what Danny said. What do you see this opportunity providing for you? Let them paint the picture for you of what they want, and then you can better coach them or lead them. You can be a support, a guide, a coach, depending on what they want. And then number 3, what if somebody approaches you about something other than ketones? Our ultimate goal online, right, is that we want to attract people to this business opportunity. We want to attract them to the ketones. But if you are branding yourself beautifully, letting social media see who you are, most likely people are going to ask you questions outside of Prove It and ketones. They're going to ask you, hey, I saw that you homeschooled. What co-op did you join? Or, hey, what resources can I, whether it's homeschool or gardening or holistic health, all the things that I'm into. These are the questions I get a lot. I'm not going to immediately say, oh, you should join our co-op. And the only reason I'm able to do it is because I drink ketones, right? I'm not going to immediately insert that. I will when the time is right in the conversation, but instead first of all, let me plug, it was Kate Higdon. She did a training, it was this Monday. She did a training on Monday, and it is in a Legendary Playbook replay link, which I'm obsessed with, by the way, guys. Kudos to whoever did that. Kate Higdon talked about branding yourself. And there was a question that she asked that I actually took immediate action on, and maybe you guys should take immediate action on it as well. I'll give you a step. She said, what do your followers think you're about? Do they know what you're about outside of ketones, ketosis? Prove it. And so she encouraged us to ask them that question. And so a day ago, I put up just a selfie. I encourage you to do this. This is your action step for the day. And I said, I invite you to genuinely share below. What do you think I'm about? And I used the comments that were coming in as a self-assessment tool. Am I truly and transparently sharing who I am outside of ketones and Prove It? So I'm not going to say anything more about that, but if you're getting messages about who you truly are and what you're about, or let's say you're not getting messages about ketones, Prove It, anything, maybe you're not sharing the real, true, authentic you, your brand of self, right? You're telling yourself, essentially. Telling yourself first, ketones second, opportunities second. So go watch that training if you haven't already. It happened. It's Kate Higdon's training. It's a Monday training if you're looking to the replays. So when somebody, congratulations, starts asking you about you or what you're doing, take the time, of course, respond, but take the time to relate to them, make them feel heard. All the same principles here, right? All the same principles here that we're talking about. And then when they begin to trust you, like I began to trust Stephanie Milkey into the chats after a while. I'm very skeptical. It took a long time. So some people are going to trust you right away. They've been following you right away, and they're going to ask you questions. And you may be able to say, you know, plug your ketones. You might be able to, but you might also not be able to in that first conversation. And it's okay. Step 5, if the conversation kind of goes stale, it's going to tell you what to do. So let's move on to step 3. So step 1, or I think Lisa, you have all the steps in the chat, right? Okay, awesome. You're so great. Number 3, remember to slow down the conversation. Always slow down the conversation. And this can be an extension of point number 2, because in point number 2, in order to get to know what somebody's goal is or what they're looking for, we have to slow down the conversation. We have to say, so excited for you. What do you want, right? Or what are you after? Or what are your goals? So that is a part of slowing down the conversation. But I did message Stephanie earlier and asked if she would role play with me. And I want to give you 2 examples. So Steph, get ready. But I wanted to give you 2 examples of if somebody is approaching you, we're just going to do it really easy, simple. If somebody's approaching you about ketones, they want to try your ketones. Let's give an example of how to slow down the conversation. That's what we're going to do versus, oh, hey, Jesse, you're driving. You're so sweet. And on the other side of it, what it looks like when the conversation is not slow and you're acting more transactional instead of relational. So, hey, Steph, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, awesome. So I want you to pretend like you've been, I don't know, following me on social media, and then just ask me, hey, I want to try some of this ketones you're talking about.
All right. Actually, I leave a voice message. So, hey, Jenna, I've been seeing you've been sharing ketones online. Man, you look so joyful. Where can I buy these ketones?
Okay, so first we're going to do where I'm not going to slow down the conversation. Ready? Oh, you can find them right here. Here's my link. Or these are the options. Here are all the trial pack options. And that's it. That was an example of how to not do this, right? She didn't feel my heart. She didn't heal my heart, or heal my heart. She didn't feel my heart. She didn't hear my heart. And it was very transactional. And she may or may not look at that link. So let's try a different example. Same approach. Ready?
Oh, hi, Jenna. I have been watching you online for 2 years. I'm finally ready to do this. I just had that message yesterday. I'm finally ready to do this. Please tell me how I grab some of those ketones.
Stephanie, I cannot believe you've been watching me for 2 years, but I watched someone too for the longest time. So here's the deal. I am so excited for you to experience these. It's like pure magic. But first, I want to know what benefit you're looking for or benefits you're looking for to get out of these. Is it the better mood or the better energy? Are you like legit not sleeping? Are you eating too much? Tell me all the things. And it's okay if you want all the things because it will provide it all.
Oh, and we would keep going. Do you want me to keep going?
We could keep going.
I need some energy.
And we would keep this dialogue up. And then I would swing back around and sell her something. But one last question for Steph I have, and you guys can ask yourself this question too. The first example versus the second example, like which one made you feel better? How did you feel in both examples?
The second one would make me want you to, like, you want to know who I am. I like to ask people, what do you want? What are you looking for?
Yeah, I love it. And all of you would agree. And this is very, very simple. Yes, Heather, thank you for participating in the chat. It's very simple. And I tell people, if it feels weird to you, you're making it weird. Like, stop making it weird. I think I heard Danny and Chris say that yesterday too. Talk to everyone as if they are your best friend. How would you chat with your best friend? In a real, relevant, transparent way, right? You wouldn't be robotic and weird, would you? I hope not. If you are, it's okay. Anyway, all right, step 4. And I'm watching my timer. Step 4, we'll go quickly through this one, is keep the power of the conversation in your hands. Keep the power of the conversation in your hands. And what I mean by that is this. Oh, and don't ask for permission. You have the power and you don't need to ask for permission to do a couple of the things that we're going to go over. The way that the conversation flows, the way that the conversation ends, the way that the conversation continues is literally in your hands if you are assertive with it, right? So let me give you examples of how to be assertive in verbiage. So say there's going to be 4 examples. The first example is number 1. I want to connect someone, or say you want to connect someone to a video. Here's the verbiage I would use to make sure I'm assertive and that I don't let the conversation go stale. Oh my gosh, they're talking to me and it makes me think of a video, right? Oh my gosh, there's this video you have to watch. I'm sending it to you now. Let me know what you think of it. I'm sending it to you now. Not, do you mind if I send it to you? Don't ask for permission, just send with excitement. Example number 2. What if you want to connect them to you in a chat from a belly-to-belly conversation, whether you're walking your dog or you're at a vendor booth or you're at Walmart or whatever. I love this conversation. Let me find you on social media. Grab their phone or give them your phone. Look me up, or this is what I do. Here's my Facebook. Type your name in. Add me as a friend. Send me a message if it won't let you. Right? That's how you be assertive person to person, face to face, to make sure that you're going to direct the conversation and the connection. What if you want to connect someone to someone else? Say I have a new customer or promoter. I want to connect them to Stephanie or Michael. I'm not going to ask. I'm not going to say, oh, do you mind if I connect you? Would that be weird? Well, you just made it weird. Okay? Don't say that, right? You want to say something like, oh man, the only person I can think of when you're talking to me, Katrina, is my friend Lisa, right? Her story is exactly like yours. I'm totally making an introduction. Hold on one second. I'm going to grab her and I'm going to throw her into the chat. You're going to love her, right? I didn't ask for permission. I just, with my energetic excitement about what was happening, I plugged her in to a 3-way connection with my friend or with a team member, right? And
Hey,
then,
Jenna, wait, before you move on, can you tell people, like, I think the connection piece is super important, like connecting in Messenger, but like if you were to connect somebody to me or vice versa, give somebody verbiage, because sometimes Like, I think the biggest piece before you move on is like the validation of the connection between like you and somebody and me. Because if you just pop somebody into a chat and you're like, hi, which I've had people do before, hi, right? Like you told your friend like, oh my goodness, I'm going to connect you with Stephanie. She's a mom, a homeschool mom like you. And then you don't introduce us. The biggest thing that I want people to understand is like, what does that look like? How did you connect somebody to me?
And this goes back to, you have the power to control how this goes, right? So if I am connecting Katrina to Stephanie, right? And I told Katrina why I was excited to connect her. And then I just randomly pop in with Stephanie, which she wants me to do. I don't have to ask Stephanie for permission to make the connection, but I do have to like pre-frame the conversation. I have to tell Stephanie in the introduction to Katrina what Katrina wants to hear or what Katrina is going through. So what I would not do is say, hey, Katrina, meet Stephanie, Stephanie, meet Katrina, right? What I would do is, Steph, actually I had this happen a couple months ago. I just met Laura. Her name was Laura. I just met Laura at our homeschool co-op. She reminded me so much of you. And I think she would be inspired by your story because her van was put together by duct tape like yours was 6 years ago. Please share with her how this business opportunity has taken you from a duct tape van to, you know, however many vehicles, beautiful and wrapped, you have sitting in your, I wouldn't say that, but about the vehicles and all the wraps, you don't want to come off like boastful and weird and whatever, but pre-frame, help Stephanie, help whoever you're connecting with know what this person needs or wants. Anything else on that before we wrap it up?
I just think it's really important. So like, I like to tell people, if you're connecting people to me, you have full permission to connect people without asking me, right? Jenna knows, she'll tell her team, you don't have to ask me. You don't need to ping pong back and forth. Don't say, Stephanie, can I message you to somebody? Hey, friend, hey, I'm going to connect you. Just you have my permission. Whoever you're working with, make sure you have their permission. And then as like Jenna said, she did a great job. Hey, I thought of somebody, your story would be so great. I'm going to connect you right now. Not can I connect you? Because then you're waiting for another message. If somebody doesn't want to talk to them, guess what? They won't. If she connects somebody to me and they don't want to talk to me, they won't. They will go back to her. And it's only happened out of the hundreds and hundreds of connections like 3 times. And I'm like, it's not a big deal. But the point is like, I care. We're a community, work together. And then what's great about Messenger is Jenna and I know we're both homeschool moms. So like, and I tell people in Messenger, because they might go, wait, I'm busy. I go, what's great is this chat is here forever. It works so that all of us in our day-to-day can chat as we go throughout this conversation. So that's it. I think that's really powerful.
It is very powerful, and letting people know, the person who's asking the questions, that you can ask every single question here in this together chat is probably one of the most beneficial things for you, because if I'm busy, she'll be here. If she's busy, I'll be here. And it's also a validation piece. Again, this just happened this morning. Jennifer, I don't know if I see you, but Jennifer, oh, I see her phone. Jennifer connected me to somebody this morning. No, she connected me to somebody last week. And somehow the conversation got back into just the one-on-one. And the girl came back with some questions and basically like, I don't want to try these because, and she inserted her sentence. And Jennifer was like, how would you respond? And I said, well, dang it. If it was in our 3-way chat, I could have validated you by replying to what she said this way. So trying to keep it, if you're in a 3-way chat, trying to keep that chat together for if someone comes back with an objection, not only do they have, like, they're comfortable saying the objection to you, but what if your friend validates you and it makes it make sense and they're like, oh, okay, well, I'll take 5-pack then, right? It's just beautiful. And so lastly, to wrap this up, well, there's one connection, and like, let's circle this back around that I, under topic 4, subtopic number 4 is, what if you want to connect someone back to the product? Because sometimes, and this happens a lot on my team, a lot, or I'm sure it happens everywhere, but a lot in our chats, where someone reaches out, a promoter slows down the conversation, hears them, feels them, makes a connection, and then they feel weird to bring the product back up. But guys, I promise you, they messaged you to get a trial pack of ketones. So that is your permission to, at the end of the conversation, or when you think the conversation is stale, to bring them back up, to bring the conversations back up. It's not being salesy and it's not being transactional, because you slow down the conversation, you made them feel felt, heard, all the things, right? Now you have this connection with them. So what I would say in a fun, loving way is, okay, oh my gosh, this has been so fun, but back to those ketones that you were asking about at the beginning of the conversation. That's it. Oh my gosh, back to the ketones. We could just talk for days. I know you were asking me about them. Here are you can do two things. Here are the options that I have available. What looks best for you? What looks best for you? You want them to answer you. Or because you've had a conversation with them, you may be able to direct them to exactly what you recommend that they grab. Okay, after talking to you and realizing it's you and your husband that wants to try, this is the bundle I recommend. I send them the direct link to the bundle, right? So don't forget to circle back around to make that sale, okay? To get them what they asked for originally. And then truly, finally, to wrap this up, number 5, last point is make note of the chat that you had for follow-up purposes. Make note of the chat that you had. I recommend, if we're just talking on a very basic fundamental level, to have at least 2 chats. At least 2 notes or 2 lists. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. One of all the people you've connected to in chats that have bought ketones. Oh, hi, Jennifer. I see your face now. And then 2, a list of all of the people who haven't bought ketones. The chat went stale. Maybe they wanted to do their own little investigation, or you were just asking the lady about her shoes that you saw on the walk, right? We don't want to let these chats, these are leads. Everyone who you're talking to in your chat or text or whatever is a lead, whether they're presenting themselves as a lead or not directly about ketones in business. So making a list and creating an own system within yourself to circle back around to those chats is imperative. Because number 1, you want the people who bought the ketones to know that you care about them and you didn't just care about a sale and now they're, dead to you. You want to know how it's going. You want to maybe have a smart chip conversation or a promoter conversation with them. And then for the people who the conversation or the chat went silent, you can, I'll give you some verbiage. You can follow up with them. Don't make it weird. Just randomly, right? Randomly, you could say things like, oh, I saw your post. I'm so sorry you're going through that, and relate with them. Just start a conversation, see where it goes. Be genuine. Things like that. So just don't feel weird. Talk to the person like they're your best friend. Or, hey, I was, if you're trying to wake a conversation back up a couple weeks later, hey, you were on my heart. I remembered our conversation, how much I loved it. Just wanted to check in with you, see how you were today, right? So to put a pretty little bow on this, just remember to be the real, true, authentic version of yourself. Remember that the connection is actually going to sell, your story sell, the facts just tell, the website just tells, your story, your connection is what sells. And talk to people assertively, but also the way that you want to be talked to. You want to be heard. And lastly, if you're watching this live, if you're watching on the replay, just go back and watch the replay I'm about to talk about. Mitch Newman is live tonight. Mindful Mitch is live tonight at, I think it's 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. And he is going to be talking about our inner game. And so guys, we are giving you like the logistics and the tactical training for how to do ACE, attract, connect, and roll. But if our inner game, which he is like the master of the inner game, right? He is like the inner game mentor to me that he doesn't know that he is. And he helps us get this right. So for sure, 100%, try to be on live with him tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, or watch the replay and the legendary playbook website link. And that is all I have for you today. I promise you that chats can be one of the biggest, most important foundational building blocks of your business if you use them for real, true, authentic connection. And that is all I have for you today. Anything you would like to add, Steph, or are we done? Okay, guys, happy Wednesday. Have a great day. See you later.